Thank you so much for joining us this morning. My name is Cristina Maria Martinez, and I have the distinct honor and privilege of serving as the Colorado State Director for the United States Department of Agriculture and Rural Development with the Biden-Harris administration. We just had a wonderful conversation with our congressional delegation, and I am very excited to have the opportunity to introduce Deputy Secretary for the United States Department of Agriculture, Xochitl Torres-Small.
When I was reading my memo this morning, I was told that this auditorium could fit 200 people, but there would probably be about 100 people here. I am sorry for everyone that there is standing room only, but I am so thrilled at how big of an announcement this is and how excited people are to be able to celebrate. I want to thank you all so much for being here and for being crucial partners. If there are two themes of the quick comments I'm going to give, it's partnership and it's local leadership. Because these investments don't work if we don't have both of those things. I also want to start by thanking people. And I hope that each of you know that I would thank all of you because it takes all of us. But I want to make sure specifically that a few folks are recognized. I want to thank Senator Bennett for your incredible investment and vision. I think of you as a practical visionary. You are the kind of partner that you want because you're an advocate at every step of the process. It's not just about getting the money, it's about making sure that money works for local communities. I want to also deeply thank Congresswoman Caraveo and Congresswoman Pedersen for your incredible advocacy and knowledge of your communities that you serve. You get into the weeds, and the West is lucky to have you. Thank you for the Inflation Reduction Act and making sure that it is reaching the people that you serve. And there'll be two people not speaking today whose names I just have to say. I want to thank Administrator Burke from the Rural Utilities Service and Claire Sorowski for your incredible, incredible work. Andy, you are the best kind of partner. You make sure that each enormous investment fits the vision of a place by getting to know people, taking the time to have hard conversations, and then delivering on what you say you'll do. And Claire, you've got this exceptional way. She can figure out the high goals, how to make the high-level goals work by diving into the details with an intensity that is unmatched. So this is just some example of the incredible work and the effort that has happened to make this happen. And what is it exactly that we are celebrating today? So I have the honor of getting to announce on behalf of the Biden-Harris administration an investment of $2.5 billion in financing for Tri-State, as well as additional investments in incredible partners like Poudre Valley and Yampa Valley. Thank you so much for this opportunity to invest in affordable, reliable, clean energy. These are investments that will allow rates for Tri-State customers to be reduced by 10% by 2034. That's a creation of $340 million in rural customer benefits. And then when you stack that with the community benefit plan and the farmer benefit plan, which is being announced today, we're making sure that these investments aren't just a one-time thing, but they will have a lasting impact for people who live here and for their children and their children's children who can still choose to live all across Colorado. It also provides an opportunity as we come out of the heat of the summer and the wildfires that are now burning hotter and longer to have a real role in building investments in clean energy and making sure that that has opportunity for communities for the long haul. On the top of that, these investments will create over 2,000 jobs, including great skilled labor jobs in partnership with IBEW. If I have two themes, I said it once again, I'll end with it. It's about partnership and it's about the opportunity for these investments to be locally led. That's why we're thrilled to get to make sure that this investment has the impact that you all deserve. That's why the Biden-Harris administration is working to make sure that we are investing the largest investment in rural electrification since Franklin Delano Roosevelt. An investment in rural electrification matters because there's an irony that people don't always think about. But rural America, that produces some of the most relied upon resources like energy and food and fiber, often pays a little bit more for their energy every single day. And it makes it harder to make ends meet It makes it harder to keep your farm in operation. It makes it harder to continue those wearing 6 different hats so you can make your budget work at the end of the month. And that's why these investments, that's why investing in rural power that's built in rural America and that serves rural America is crucial. So thank you for your partnership. Thank you for your local leadership. And here's to rural power.
My name's Dwayne Hiley, CEO of Tri-State. Welcome here to Tri-State's office in this room, which we call the Church of the Cooperative sometimes. This is the boardroom where our 41 member systems meet every month, sending one of the members from the end of the line in to represent their friends and neighbors. As a board member for this member-owned nonprofit power supply network, vertically coordinated, we call Tri-State. So proud to have you all with us today, and it's wonderful to see so many of you here. I just have so many people. I mean, we want to recognize all our guests, Deputy Secretary Torres Small, Administrator Burke, and Senator Bennett. Thank you so much. Representatives Carvalho and Pedersen, and just the list goes on and on. I couldn't stop thanking people today. It's appropriate that we're meeting today in this room, because in 2019, this is where the idea for the New Era funding literally hatched. The Rocky Mountain Institute convened a meeting in this boardroom with Sierra Club and Tri-State and others, and the concept was, how can we help rural America with the stranded investment that's going to occur in the event of closing coal plants? And how can we help the rural members of the cooperatives to accelerate an energy transition? And that idea started in 2019, and everybody in this room helped us make it happen. There were so many times we thought it really wasn't going to happen, and it just seemed like a dream or an imagined future, but here we are with reality. And so it's very appropriate that we meet here today. This is a generational funding opportunity. These funds are going to help people for decades to come. It's going to help our kids and our grandkids have affordable and reliable energy. And Tri-State's honored to be receiving $2.5 billion. I can hardly even say the words. Who can even imagine that that could have been possible? This will be transformational for the members that own Tri-State across 4 states. Again, we apologize for being in a poorly named cooperative. But 18 projects of clean energy, 1,000 megawatts of clean wind and solar, 200 megawatts of battery storage, 1,100 megawatts of coal plants retired to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And every dollar of this funding goes back to rural America, goes back into the pockets of co-op members who will pay less for their power. They'll have more reliable, cleaner power faster as a result of this investment. Now, to my right is a solar panel from our Axial Basin Solar Project, which is currently under construction. I have to thank Senator Bennett for his efforts here, too, because they approved direct pay tax credits. As a nonprofit, it used to be we couldn't take advantage of those tax credits, and other people took advantage of them for us, and we had to pay them for that. But now a co-op can directly invest in a resource like that panel that's going to go out in Axial Basin up in northwest Colorado near the Craig plant, where the coal plant's retiring. And that project is going to provide power, but at a cost where we can take advantage of the tax credit directly, and the co-op members don't pay, so thank you for that. Again, it's just so many people to thank, and the list goes on. We have to thank the Biden administration. They actually budgeted for these funds, so I think they had confidence in us even before we did. They budgeted for these funds before it was even a reality in the budget. And again, Deputy Secretary, we were talking about this when it was even just not even an idea yet, and what could we do? And then here we are, and Senator Bennett, you've been with us from the beginning, every step of the way. I remember that early meeting at your office in D.C., and we said, what about this? Do you think this could work? And here you led the charge, and it made it happen. Administrator Burke and Assistant Administrator McLean, who is a national treasurer as well as you. It's just, we met together when this funds passed and said, now how are we going to do this? We said, well, if you just give us the pen, we'll write the rules for you. Now, believe me, it did not work that way. But really appreciate the partnership and helping make this program, get it defined and help make it happen. And then I have to thank the Tri-State employees. There's so many that work to help make this happen and are now working to put these projects in place. So we've moved from planning now to execution. Our government relations staff, our energy market staff, our strategy staff, the budgeting staff, the financial people, everybody, the Tri-State employees in this room, would you please kind of wave your hands so everybody can see you? Yeah, it's awesome, awesome. Most importantly, the Tri-State Board of Directors, who had the vision that you could make an energy transition. And we're talking about people from 4 states that don't always agree on energy, okay? Wyoming and Nebraska do not think the same about energy as New Mexico and Colorado. But at this boardroom, at this board table, they came together to agree non-politically, reliability and affordability, everyone gets behind. And we can make this transition reliable and affordable with assistance of this money, especially so. And this board of directors, again, democratically elected to represent them by their friends and neighbors in rural America, came together and said, we're going to make this happen. And we really, really appreciate the board of directors. We have a couple in this room. Can you wave your arms as well as a couple of our board members? Thank you. Working together, we electrified the West, 200,000 square miles, an area bigger than the state of California with our 41 co-op members in partnership. And working together, we're going to make this transition in our portfolio reliable and affordable. So now it's my privilege. Co-ops work together. A co-op that's not a member of Tri-State but works and helps serve members in Northwest Colorado, Yampa Valley, is going to be represented by their CEO and President, Scott Blecky. Thank you so much for being here.
It's an incredible honor to be here today in the recognition of the funds that will be awarded. Yampa Valley, serving northwestern Colorado, will be awarded nearly $50 million. It's an important initiative that aligns very, very closely to our mission, to our vision, towards energy transition and supporting our communities. So I'm excited to share with you that those funds will allow us to leverage almost 150 megawatts of new solar, coupled with 75 megawatts of battery storage. That's a significant step forward in the commitment to improving the lives of our rural communities while maintaining the energy transition in a reliable manner. So it's not just about increasing and diversifying our power supply. We're going to position ourselves as a leading organization prioritizing the energy transition in a sustainable, reliable manner. And so I'd also like to thank a few people. I'd like to thank Guzman Energy, our future power supplier. They worked with us very closely to allow us to take advantage of the funds. Those funds will be instrumental in stabilizing power supply costs for the rural parts of Colorado. And we're going to enhance the affordability of electricity. As Dwayne said, it's a direct reduction. Every dollar that we receive allows us to reduce our power costs moving forward. Being selected for this award underscores the importance and collaborative efforts between public and private sectors. It exemplifies the commitment to innovation, sustainability, and economic resilience through our community benefits plan. There's going to be significant benefits to our community as we're transitioning, especially in the western side of our service territory, from a coal-based industry to a new renewable generation industry. And we'd also like to thank some of our key stakeholders, Senator Bennett's office, Northwest Colorado Development Council, Community Agriculture Alliance, the Yampa Valley Community Foundation, Lift Up Routt County, the Routt County Action Climate Collaborative, Integrated Community, Yampa Valley Sustainability Council, and the Yampa Valley Housing Authority. And last but not least, I would like to thank the staff at YVEA. They've put together a significant amount of effort to put this grant application together, and be selected for it is a tribute to their hard work. So Jeff, Emily, Helen, and then Mike at YVEA put in a lot of effort, and so I'd like to publicly thank them for their efforts in building that. And so I'd just like to express my gratitude and opportunity and for the support from USDA and RUS. We're honored to be selected among the applicants of connecting our rural remote communities with reliable energy that will stabilize our power supply long into the future. This enhances the cooperative's ability to meet our evolving energy needs of our rural communities. So, thank you.
What a great morning it is for what we like to call Co-op Nation. Not only is it the co-ops that are in this room that are being announced, but as well across this entire nation. These are legacy projects and legacy days that we're honored and humbled to be a part of. We're also honored where we get to sit as we get to serve northern Colorado, 56,000 meters, just a little bit up the road, all the way up to the Wyoming border, to the plains, to the I-25 corridor, the white knuckle corridor we like to call it, and as well as the up into the mountains, all the way to the top of the passes. We're blessed with the area that we get to serve, and we're going to be blessed with this funding. This funding that we're going to receive is approximately $43 million, and it's going to be impactful in 2 legacy projects. But for us, we're kind of unique here, is that it's a twofer for us, because we are proud member owners of Tri-State G&T, and the fact that they're getting, I can't even say the number you're getting, Dwayne, it's so big, It's pretty darn exciting for us, and we're very proud to have the, because we're rural. But rural doesn't mean you have to be disadvantaged, and rural doesn't mean you cannot be environmentally responsible and provide economic viability, and we do both. For us, what that means, economic viability, we're proud that we have the lowest rates in the state of Colorado. That is a big deal for us. These two legacy projects, the first one is going to be a 108 megawatt wind farm that's going to be located in eastern Colorado. It's going to be on the bulk electric grid via the newly announced Bring Your Own Resource program. The Tri-State is, we've been able to work in conjunction with Tri-State to be able to do that. Super excited. We're hopeful it's going to move forward to the finish line. No pressure there, Tri-State. So we're very hopeful there. The other legacy project we're going to be working on is on the distribution grid. We have a robust behind-the-meter already renewable portfolio, and we have a large number of community solar farms out onto the distribution grid. And part of this is we're going to get 20 megawatt hours of battery that we're going to be able to inject that and already that renewable energy that's there and fill those batteries up during the day when that's being generated and take it out onto the grid during our high peak times, during the most carbon, when carbon's being used, most the base load generation's being used to help offset that carbon using those batteries. So those two projects for us is going to help us to continue on our path to really showing that, you know, a sustainable grid can be done. It can be done in a way that allows for reliability and affordability, something we're very, very happy about. I do want to certainly give a shout out to all the employees at Poudre Valley REA. They absolutely leaned to this. We have a few here, Tanner Hayes, Amy Mann, Amy Rozier. You guys have to stand up too, darn it. Everyone else did. So they are a subset of an employee team that is fully engaged in making a difference to our members and the members that need it the most. And so we're so excited about that. And I also want to give a big shout out to our board of directors. Thank you for just making sure that good enough is not our motto. You push us and you make sure that we move forward, and just being good enough is not enough. So thank you for that. And then certainly want to give just thank you so much for us to the Biden administration, the congressional delegation, the USDA, and the RUS. You guys do a huge amount of work behind the scenes that nobody ever notices. So thank you to that group as well. It could not be done without that. And so now it is my great honor and privilege to introduce Colorado's senior senator. He's also the senior member of the Senate Ag, Nutrition and Forestry Committee, and very happy to introduce Senator Michael Bennet.
Thank you, everybody. It is wonderful to be here today. Good morning, and it is always nice to see when your hard work has paid off. I want to thank Dwayne and Tri-State for their leadership, for hosting this event, for extraordinary efforts to help advance the New Era program. Madam Secretary, thank you for coming to Colorado. We loved having you here. The secretary, the deputy secretary, but I call her the secretary, is from New Mexico, as she may have said. And I can't tell you how important it is to have somebody at that level of leadership in the Department of Agriculture who understands our needs in the Rocky Mountain West. It has been invaluable, and I'm grateful that you're here today, but more than that, I'm grateful for all of your work and the contribution that you've made for rural Colorado and rural New Mexico as well. I also want you to thank the secretary, who is an often visitor in Colorado, partly because he's got grandchildren here. I like to think it's because it's the most beautiful state in America, but he's got grandchildren. But we'll take it, and we're glad that he comes as well. It's great to be here with my colleagues, Yadira Carveo and Brittany Pedersen, who are both amazing members of the congressional delegation who work with everybody, every political stripe, to deliver for Colorado and have done so on these important projects. You know, I think if you can get through or ignore the political discussion about energy and climate in this country, what you would discover is that there is no country in the world that is better situated than the United States to lead this global transition. This is the country to do it. No one else has the abundant resources that we have, both fossil fuels and non-fossil fuels. No one else has the innovation we have. No one else has, certainly when it comes to energy, the lack of corruption that we have, which the co-op model is such an incredibly important antidote toward. And you add it all up, and that is the United States of America. And in my view, and I've had this view for a very long time, we will never succeed at leading the world if rural America doesn't lead America in this fight and in this transition. And that's what this has always been about for me as a member of the Agriculture Committee. And I think when we had the chance to pass the Inflation Reduction Act, that's what I wanted to make sure we were able to achieve. And with that bill, we are rapidly deploying clean energy and boosting American manufacturing for wind, solar, and batteries. We're supporting our farmers and ranchers and restoring America's forests and watersheds. Most important, we have put rural America at the center of this transition. And actually, rural America put rural America at the center of the transition is a better way of saying it, because of these co-ops right here in Colorado. As a result of your leadership, this bill provides $13 billion for rural clean energy, and for the first time, by the way, it's a little greedy for Tri-State to hoover up $2 billion of that $13 billion. That might be a little excessive. For the first time, as Dwayne said, it allows rural electric co-ops to access clean energy tax credits. And I was pleased to have a chance as a member of the Agriculture Committee to push with Dwayne and others to make sure that got into the final bill. I was proud as a member of the Finance Committee to be able to push for the direct pay on the tax credits. We were able to get that there. And actually, I never was able to figure out how to use my seat on the Intelligence Committee to help the bill, but we should have been able to figure it out because this is a national security imperative as much as it's anything else. And I'm very grateful that we've all worked in partnership to do it. And today, nearly $2.5 billion in total financing, as we've said, is making its way to Tri-State, and hundreds of millions of dollars more will be coming to Colorado's 4 additional selectees. Co-ops deliver power to over 70% of our state. They reach all 4 corners, and they serve nearly 1.5 million people. And I think Colorado co-ops are uniquely positioned to drive economic opportunity for rural America, to set a standard for the rest of the country and the rest of the world, and are critical to our affordable transition to clean energy. The funding announced today is going to help our co-ops modernize their energy infrastructure, cut pollution, create high-paying jobs where we need them most, and lower energy costs for farms, for families, and for small businesses all over our state. And I'm so grateful that, as usual, Colorado is leading the way. And with this funding, Tri-State, Yampa Valley Electric, Poudre Valley Electric, Core Electric, and United Power will not only invest in our rural communities, but continue Colorado's strong leadership in this energy transition. As I said, there is no better state, there is no state better positioned in America than Colorado to lead our country in this effort. We're ready to do that, Madam Secretary, and there is no country in the world better positioned than the United States of America. It is an honor to celebrate this step with all of you today, and I can't wait to see what's coming next. And with that, let me turn it over to my partner, Congressman Yadira Carballo, who's been an extraordinary leader on these issues in her time in Congress.
Well, thank you, Senator, and thank you to Tri-State for hosting us here today at your headquarters. I'm very excited to be here alongside Deputy Secretary Torres Small and the USDA, as well as Senator Bennett, Congresswoman Pedersen, and leaders from Tri-State, Yampa Valley, Poudre Valley, and the IBW 111 and Root Shoot Malting. We are here today to celebrate this clean energy funding thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act, which has had a huge impact here in Colorado. The IRA, as we have said, is the most significant climate legislation in U.S. history, offering funding through initiatives such as Empowering Rural America or the New Era program. Colorado is a national energy leader, ranking among the top 10 states in total energy output, and it supports thousands of jobs here in the 8th District alone. Now, as a pediatrician, I always knew that when there was a bad air quality day and we couldn't see the mountains, it meant that I would be sending a lot of kids to the hospital with asthma attacks. So limiting pollution and taking steps towards our climate goals are imperative for our health and future of our state. That's why I'm working to balance the demands of our energy needs with the responsibility of protecting our environment for future generations. For districts like mine that rely on the industry, the New Era program represents a significant opportunity to do both. Secure new federal funding that will not only strengthen Colorado's energy sector, but also support clean, affordable, and reliable energy. Further, it will help create jobs for rural Americans, reduce energy costs for working families, support our agriculture and small businesses, and preserve Colorado for generations to come. Now, as ranking member on the House Agriculture Committee, on a subcommittee that deals with rural development, I'm leading efforts to ensure that the USDA IRA initiatives, like the New Era program, are kept intact in the next Farm Bill to aid rural communities, businesses, and utilities in their clean energy transition. Moving forward, I will continue to work with my colleagues in Congress to ensure that Colorado remains at the forefront of America's energy production and position companies in Colorado to lead in the clean energy economy. And I have the honor of doing that with our partner to the west, representative for Colorado's 7th Congressional District, Congresswoman Brittany Pedersen.
My name is Brittany Pedersen. I represent Colorado's 7th Congressional District, and I'm so excited to be here today. This is really some of the most rewarding parts of our job being in Congress, is to see the great work that the people on the ground are doing to make sure that our communities have a brighter future. Washington isn't always the best place to be, so thank you for reminding me why I'm in Congress. I'm grateful to play a small role in this, in supporting the application for applying for these critical funds. I want to thank Senator Bennett and the people who were in Congress before Yadira and I were elected, who were able to pass the Inflation Reduction Act. Some of the most transformative dollars that are continuing to come throughout our communities. But we heard from Deputy Secretary that that is not possible unless we have the local leadership. It is exactly what it is supposed to look like when we have local leadership and we have federal representation that works for our communities. So I'm so proud of what you all were able to do and that we were able to play a piece of this. I represent Westminster, so Jefferson County, the Jefferson County portion, also Broomfield, and then 6 counties to southwest Colorado. And so while Tri-State only serves one part of my region, it plays a critical piece in providing that transitional, the accessible and affordable electricity for people throughout rural Colorado. And the key piece in the needs that we need to meet at the federal level in transforming our electric grid, these are the investments that we need to be investing in for the future of our nation. I don't know about you, but I was fired up listening to Senator Bennett. We have to lead in the U.S. for transforming our energy grid and what's possible to meet our climate goals. I have a 4-year-old son, and I'm currently pregnant. If you didn't notice, when I was walking up. And when I think about the future in Colorado and what our kids are going to grow up with if we are unable to meet these goals, but I also, it's the thing that keeps me up at night, but it's the people that I know are rolling up their sleeves to get this done that give me hope for the future, that Colorado will continue to be a place where my son and our kids can live and thrive. But also, it's not just about addressing climate change. It's also about affordability and reliability. I loved when we heard earlier from Tri-State about, people from incredibly different views in states that were able to come together because they can get behind reliability and affordability. And if we can focus on outcomes and what that means for our constituents, maybe we can put our partisanship aside. So it gives me hope on what's possible. And I'm also on the bipartisan AI task force. And something that has renewed what wakes me up at night and keeps me up at night is our energy needs are now, we had a projection of a continuous increase of our energy needs that is completely now out of whack as AI is coming into play. So we are going to see skyrocketing. It was, when I met with NREL around their energy projections, we were on a steady path increase and now skyrocketing upwards, completely off the charts because of AI. And for every Google search that you all do, if you use a Chat GPT, it's actually 15 times the energy. And that's just the beginning. So we know, and we also need to lead on that here in the United States for our national security, for our constituents. And so we need to transition even quicker. The time is now. I'm so proud of the work that you all have done, and I get to come and celebrate with you. And I want to give a shout out to the members who aren't here today who also signed on to those letters. That's Senator Hickenlooper. To our delegation, we also have Representative Crow and Negus and DeGette, who are all supportive of this because they know that this is critical for Colorado. So thank you for leading. We promise to continue to fight for you at the federal level, and let's build a world that our kids deserve. Thank you so much.
I am Nate Gutierrez. I am the business manager, financial secretary for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 111, representing 4,400 skilled workers across the state of Colorado and in Wyoming. I am honored and privileged to be here and be a part of this award. This $2.5 billion to Tri-State is amazing for the workers that I represent. We are proud and privileged to represent the workers at Tri-State, CORE, United Power, Yampa Valley, and Poudre Valley. And this is a great moment for our workers and hopefully future workers that join up and become members as well. This award is proof of the Biden-Harris administration's commitment to a clean energy transition, commitment to union labor, and a commitment to including rural America in this process. Ensuring rural America in these awards is exciting for the IBWs because of the opportunities this brings. These projects bring an opportunity for men and women in these rural areas to be a part of this clean energy process. Without awards like this, they may not be a part of. An opportunity to learn a skilled trade through Department of Labor apprenticeships, to earn a living wage and benefits that could lead to generational wealth-changing careers. And I say that as careers, not jobs, but careers in a high-demand industry. I can't express the gratitude enough for the Biden-Harris administration's leadership and determination to get the Inflation Reduction Act passed and for all the work and opportunities for our members and future members during this clean energy transition. I look forward to the collaborative effort with all of our industry partners and to ensuring that our communities and our workers are brought along in this process and the future growth and all of those opportunities again. I need to thank Senator Bennett, Congressman Caraveo and Pedersen, Deputy Secretary Torres Small for all their work and their championing this cause and to bringing these awards here to Colorado.
This is really exciting. I'm really privileged to be in the same room with all these individuals and just be a part of this announcement that helps rural communities continue to thrive. Like was mentioned before, I'm a fifth-generation farmer. I am in the Loveland and Berthoud area. We farm about 2,000 acres, and that is rye, wheat, barley, alfalfa is all grown. So we rely on electricity to irrigate our crops. So center pivots, like most people maybe not aware, but center pivots run on electricity. So that's the only way to get water efficiently onto our crops. We opened our malt house in 2016 to serve the brewing and distilling industry in Colorado. So we have got about 150 customers in Colorado currently. And we produce about 3 million pounds of malt, which is quite a lot of beer and lots of happy people. So get out and support your local brewery. Throughout the time, my family and I really wanted to create a sustainable business model that could combat some of the commodity prices that are oftentimes a challenge for large farmers or just any farmer in general. So we've vertically integrated our farm to really control how much profit we can make off of our land and to produce more profit off of every single acre by adding value through this malting process. Every time I get the chance to stand up in front of people, it's not really my forte. I don't really enjoy it that often, but I feel like it's important to tell the story of the American farmer. Like it's difficult times. There's lots of depression that is occurring throughout the whole community because you've got large weather events that roll through. Like we lost about 700 acres this year from a hailstorm, and that's really hard to deal with as a farmer because you've just lost those crops. I mean, you have insurance to help with that, but it still can be very difficult to recover from. And I hope to just like motivate farmers to look outside the box, try to innovate, try to find other markets that are available to them. And I think that's something that's available through rural communities. So I'm going to be an indirect recipient of these funds through some reliable power and affordable power, which is super important to our business because our malt house runs 24/7, 7 days a week. So it's very imperative that everything's kind of continuing to operate. Otherwise, we'll have a blip in the whole program and have a product that we can't sell. We use solar panels for about a quarter of our operation, so we're trying to use renewables as much as we can, but we still rely heavily on consistent and affordable power from Poudre Valley REA. Like he mentioned before, they are the lowest rates in the state, and I'm really excited that we're part of that region. Yeah, so having access to affordable and sustainable and reliable electricity is imperative to help us continue our mission to keep family farms viable and to ensure that farmland is preserved for generations to come.
So, like many folks in rural communities, I wear lots of hats. And I think that the full title of my job and how I come to you today is representative of those multiple hats. So I'd first like to thank the staff of Yampa Valley Electric, where I'm vice chair of the board. Thank you very much for your hard work on this grant effort. It takes a team. You've made us incredibly proud. I'd also like to recognize Commissioner Tony Bouyer, Moffett County Commissioner. The work that I get to do is economic development in the 3 communities that are coal impacted in Northwest Colorado. That represents almost half of the coal jobs that Colorado still has. And at risk is 48% of the GDP for Moffett County alone. This is a significant cause for concern and the community. If it were about only economics and electrons, I think this would be a fairly, doable transition. But it's also cultural transformation. And in order for that to be effective, people as well as power are at the heart of this conversation. So I get to speak about the community benefits plan of this amazing opportunity. We've heard from Scott about the power profile and what that will do to buy down power prices for the most remote rural corners of our state. That's incredibly important. But by leveraging a community benefits component of this plan, we get to amplify what this grant does. We get to help stabilize a lot of processes out there. So let me give you one example of how power and agriculture really are tied together in rural communities. Todd spoke to some of that. What we learned with Northwest Colorado Development Council, which is a very 100 or more leaders collaborate together and convene and talk about what sectors can we help to boost first in order to address this concern. And what we learned is that the agricultural sector in our region is very tied to coal and to the current energy jobs. And so that when those high-paying jobs roll off without replacement, the agricultural producers that are supplementing the farm income with those high wages are also at risk. And so, we have threats to multiple sectors. And so how do we address those threats? Well, I think the community benefits plan and the farmer benefits part of that plan will help us to come together as rural Americans and figure out collaboratively to how we can best utilize those resources. We have people who are highly skilled in rural America. We need our highly skilled workforce to continue to produce power. And when rural America thrives, when we empower rural America with what it needs to be successful, all of America thrives. And that's important. So thank you very much. It is so critical for those people to be, for us, for me, for all rural Americans to be truly engaged as part of that conversation, and I think we are. So I'm super, super excited today that we are announcing collaboratively, collectively with Tri-State and others for being award recipients. What we need now is to continue to work together at all levels of government, all areas of our communities in order to make sure that implementation is successful. We really are relying on good implementation of these plans to drive our future success. And I think it's possible. I think I'm seeing a community right now struggling with that cultural transition. As Todd spoke, we are experiencing a mental health crisis in Northwest Colorado. We now need to roll out public, clear communication, consistent communication to help inspire hope in existing workers, but also to give inspiration, creativity, innovation to our young eventual workforce, our high schoolers, our middle schoolers, who are wondering, what will they do? Will they have to leave the communities they care about in order to thrive? I don't think so. And I think investments like this make that more possible today than they were prior. So final thing, I would like to thank and show appreciation for Tri-State for putting this on and inviting all of us to participate in your celebration and our celebration. I would also like to thank the USDA. You have been long supporters of rural communities across America, and that is very important to us. So thank you for continuing to be partners and have us at the table. Economic growth and development in our rural communities, stabilizing power costs, championing sustainability in our communities. We are so proud to be doing this work. What we need now is time and consistency. Let's not stop today. Let's continue, strengthen the relationships. When we recognize that there is somebody maybe missing from the table, let's bring them to the table. I think that together that's a winning combination, not just to help coal-impacted and rural communities across America to survive. We want to thrive. Thank you for helping us do that.
Thank you to all of our esteemed guests who have traveled not only from across Colorado, but across the nation to be here. I'm just going to do one more run through because it's amazing, the folks that we have in this room. Deputy Secretary Torres Small, Administrator Burke, Whitney Muse with the White House, Senator Bennett, Congresswoman Caraveo, Congresswoman Pedersen, Yampa Valley Electric, Poudre Valley Electric, CORE, United Power, our labor friends, IBEW, Todd with Root Shooting, Sasha representing Northwest Colorado, Mayor Jan Coleman, Moffat County Commissioner Tony Booyer, and I have to give a shout out to my dear friend, our New Mexico USDA Rural Development State Director Trish Dominguez, who traveled from New Mexico to be with us today. And my staff in particular, Amy Mund, our incredible PIO, who was supported by Shelby, the Wyoming PIO, and our entire team that has put so many hours into this effort, and Tri-State. Huge, huge thank you. We appreciate your hospitality. We appreciate your generosity. As you have heard, today is about a new era, pun intended. It is about a new era, a new vision, new innovation, new partnerships, new investments, new cost savings for people, new jobs, and a new opportunity for rural communities who are the backbone of our state, our country, and our economy. Together, America prospers. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for what is next for Colorado.